Hi, Bahmat.
Hi, Bakrupi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, good. Can you hear me now? Can you see me?
Yes, voice is clear, picture is clear,
Perfect.
and unintentionally we are wearing the same outfit color.
The same clothes, right? That's okay.
Thank you for joining us today, for saying yes to doing this. It's an honor to talk to you. Friends, this is Pak Ahmad Al-Neama. He's been the CEO of Indosat Ooredoo, one of the leading telco companies, for 2 years now, since 2019. And if I'm not mistaken, Pak Ahmad, you come from Qatar, yeah?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Oh, that's even more exciting. Which makes you, if I'm not mistaken, the first expat CEO of the company?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
True.
Yep. Could you share with us a bit where you currently reside and how is it like to be an expat leading such a big company in Indonesia?
Yeah, sure. First of all, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thanks, Ruby, for having me today. And this is the first live Instagram I do in my life, so it is really give this an
Wow.
honor to have this with you today. So thanks for asking this question, Ruby. So basically, I reside in Qatar, with my family, but I have been going back and forth between Qatar and Jakarta, and of course Jakarta here with my team in Indonesia. It's been a challenging journey. Before COVID,
Mm-hmm.
I tried to come here and there like once,
Mm.
twice every 1 month, 2 months. Now after COVID, things are different. So it's
Yeah,
a really challenging journey for me to be far away from my family and of course my home country, Qatar. And also with the recent development of this very long pandemic, it is really becoming more difficult, and my responsibility to be very close to my Indosat family here. That's why that I
Mm-hmm.
always reside here now in Indonesia. I take this as a motivation in the state, not to be in Qatar, being
Yeah,
here, and by doing so, I stay committed and focused in progressing in the company.
that's awesome. I think it's inspiring in a way that you take your role as a leader, taking turning around a company like Indosat Ooredoo in the midst of pandemic sounds like twice the effort.
Thank you.
But before we talk into that, I think a lot of our audience here are very interested in your personal journey, Pa. So I did a bit of research. Um, I read that you graduate from the University of Colorado with a degree in electrical and electronics engineering. I believe everyone here is interested in hearing your journey. You spent 11 years before eventually now as a CEO. Would you mind sharing that journey with us?
Absolutely, Ruby. And indeed, I know that you're going to do some research. You are absolutely correct. My background was a bit technical. In
Yeah.
fact, my journey at Ooredoo Group in Doha started, as a developee, or we call it a trainee. So before Ooredoo,
Yeah.
it was called QTIL, and I joined the company
Mm.
before it became the group. Now we are a group, and we are really operating in 10 countries. Even during that time when I was joining as a developee, at that level lower as a developee, I entered this company. I haven't really changed to any company. I started my career in Ooredoo, and inshallah, maybe I'll end up here in Ooredoo. But I am very lucky
Wow.
again, really, to have this opportunity to try different roles in my career. Aside from
Mm.
technology roles, I experienced many roles in Ooredoo, have it either in Qatar was in technology, then I moved to sales, then I moved to also group as a group CTO,
Mm.
and now, of course, after that, I get this challenge to be the CEO of Indosat. When I got here as a CEO of Ooredoo Indosat, it was roughly 6 months before my appointment as a CEO back in 2019. I was also part of the board of commissioners, here in Indosat. So before I joined as a CEO, I was also a commissioner here. So it was not a new thing for me to jump as a CEO here in Indosat. And during my early days in Indonesia, I witnessed that people expect a lot from Indosat, and those around me kept me motivated, and sending me a positive encouragement for Indosat to improve at every time. And this is what gave me a confidence, when I was appointed as a CEO. I keep, challenging myself to learn more and more every day and improve to help the company to become, the brand that Indonesians like and love and trust. I always have this saying, if you love what you do, you do not have to work for the rest of your life.
Wow. So I think the key takeaways are you are willing to experiment and accept the challenges from different areas, like from the technical side and then to the sales side and then a few other roles. And that makes you a sort of like a complete package about.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So after so many years at Ooredoo, during those times, are there any specific memorable moments or specific milestone that you remember the most?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a good question to ask. I think I have experienced a few things I can remember, from 3G to 4G rollout, and now we are having 5G, as you know. One of the most memorable moments during these years was when I was part of the team when Ooredoo launched the first commercial 5G network worldwide in Qatar. Because in Qatar, we were the first one to launch 5G in the world, not only in the Middle East. And it was very exciting to be part, of the team, managing that team, and also to mark the beginning of the new digital era in the world. Maybe a second thing that I can think about, the second memorable moment for me was to witness our growth for the last 3 years here in Indosat. I want to thank all my employees here that work, tirelessly on the front line and the team behind the scene also during these challenging times. Our numbers, our results speak for themselves, and it is all because of them. Their dedication and commitment are really, really, really remarkable. We keep improving every day. And I am truly inspired by our team, commitment for making this difference, and to do this difference, and keep beating our yesterday. I can also say that what we have done here in Indosat is extraordinary, and we went literally from worst to be the first. And this is what I can really say to you.
Wow. In one of my episode podcasts, I do a series of podcasts, but it's called 30 Days of Lunch. So we talk with many leaders, and we stumble upon one CEO that have a similar experience with you, where he has to turn around a company from not even in the top 5, now they're in the top 2. So same thing happened to you. Amazing performance result in just 2 years. So even becoming one of the 5G pioneers in Indonesia. Could you share with us specifically what are your strategies during those 2 years in turning around the company?
Sure. Fun fact, when I first took this job, as Indosat Ooredoo CEO, all my friends, I'll tell you the truth, really doubted me and doubted my decision, and thought that, who's that crazy guy to come here and take this job, and do this change. So I can tell you, Ruby, it was indeed a hard time at Indosat Ooredoo, when I become the CEO here. But look, I took it as a challenge, I can say, and an opportunity, to prove myself that I can lead and turn around a company to success, and after I took, this job, it was a challenging time in the beginning, but then we really succeeded where we are now.
I see. I see. Glad to see that, Pa. Any other specific strategies that you can share internally or externally that Indosat Ooredoo has been doing? I read some of the results you posted on YouTube, and I think friends, if you guys are interested as well, you can see in terms of revenue, in terms of user base, in terms of subscribers, they grow such a huge amount, and you guys can see the details there in Pa Ahmad YouTube. But I'm looking forward to hear more about the comprehensive strategies internally and externally.
Sure. After I took this job, Ruby, we all came up and agree with a 3-year turnaround plan, which mostly every company do.
Yeah.
We put in our mind, 2 important points to focus on. Not only, the company financial, because a lot of people are really talking about financial, but as well, as well as the overall pride, presence and customer experience. These are the things we need to focus on, and that's what we have to focus on. So the first strategy to me that I remember is that we focus on expanding the B2C sector, and to add more value for the money and winning more customer trust. And of course, by focusing in the B2C, we also enhance and focus in the B2B sector. And in the B2B sectors, we focus on being more nimble than our competitor and try to get more share in the B2B. The second strategy also is to improve our network. I am an engineer, as I told you before, and I am a technical guy too. So network is in my blood.
Yeah.
So I focus on, build a very competitive video grid mobile network and provide those who long for seamless, entertainment, etc. We really focus and also align with our long commitment to accelerate, digitalization for the future growth in the Indonesian market.
Wow. I see. And when I hear that the part about the technicalities about the network, is it where the partnership with Cisco and Google comes in? I saw your Instagram picture with them the other day, but
yes. One more thing, Ruby, before we stop in the strategy. One of the more important things for me, in the strategy was also to improve our 360 efficiency in OPEX and CAPEX. As a company, and streamline our regional execution. So right now also we have 5 regional offices now and wonderful employees in these regions, and we are committed to serve all areas in Indonesia with these turnaround strategy and a place. It will save and it will be across Indonesia, and that it will help also execute on the ground all our strategy. And alhamdulillah, we managed to raise back up and of course be where we are now today. But it is a good question you ask about partnership. So yes, of course, I believe that every telco and company in the world now, including Indosat, Ooredoo, we cannot carry out this mission alone, right? So if we need really to have a partner, especially tech giants for joining and joining us, or to have a joint efforts in maximizing this initiatives that we have done so far. After 2 years, I can really tell you now, after this turnaround strategy, the door did not only open for us, but it is really smashed. We smashed them open. All the big OTT companies want to partner with us now massively and want to really associate with us. And this is really a massive thing for Indosat.
Is that why we see the other day that, I think about 2 weeks ago, that you posted a picture with the CEO of Google, Mr. Sundar Pichai? Was the meeting also about the partnership?
Yes, it's true. before we go to the picture of Sundar, I want to say also, I think every global partners now, could help Indosat in supporting, the country, because there are so many, untapped opportunity in Indonesia. I can tell you it has become one of my mission, to bring as many global partners as we could in the country. And it will help us in our mission to accelerate, the digital transformation across the country by providing better connectivity, better digital solution, and more, prospect for our customer here. This is why we establish, I think, back to your question, that is why we establish, cooperation with some of the global tech giants. Not only Google, so such as Cisco, Google, as our most recent partnership. This is really aligned, with the Indonesian government digital agenda to support the country in becoming the Southeast Asian digital powerhouse. So back to your Sundar question, awesome. Both partnership that we did now, and I can really shadow some heights in this one, both partnership were part of my, recent my US trip, a couple of weeks ago. It was a very productive trip for me. I get to visit Cisco, Snapchat headquarters, and then also Nokia Bell Lab headquarters, and of course Google. Our partnership with Cisco is about, delivering advanced networks and connectivity solution, to our B2B and businesses of all sizes across Indonesia. And I am happy to share now that Cisco is also committed in helping Indonesia's digital journey. So we at Indosat Ooredoo are very excited to work with them in realizing the benefits of this partnership. And, it's good that you ask about Google, You said to me now, you saw my photo with the back Sundar Pichai, yes, I really, want to tell you that I met him personally. I met Mr. Sundar Pichai during my visit with Google. And yes, we talked about our partnership. I can tell you, Ruby, Google is very excited about this partnership and align with us also with the government digital agenda, and our partnership with Google was especially made for Indonesian SMBs and of course enterprises, where we will bring a new cloud, based and 5G enabled digital solution to help the business unlock, countless digital opportunities. And it was very, very great meeting with him.
Wow. Can't wait to see the partnership bringing real positive impact in Indonesia real soon. But again, we'll go to the questions. First thing first, saya bacain dalam bahasa Indonesia dulu teman-teman ya. Nanti I will translate this to English. Sure. Pak, pernah ngerasa ragu nggak waktu pindah ke Indosat? This is actually my questions as well. Have you ever felt hesitant when you switch to Indosat Ooredoo in Jakarta, in Indonesia, and why?
Oh, this is a great question, but I personally never ever felt hesitated when I first took this job, to tell you the truth, Ruby. Like I said earlier, my friends did really feel that way, but they doubted my decision, to accept this challenge and turn around, Indosat Ooredoo back then. But today, I have proven myself, alhamdulillah, and I made the right decision to come here, and I can really tell your follower who asked the question, my advice here is to all of you and all the followers here, to when you have a task like this, you have to make sure that you hang there and never ever quit, and I'm always a believer because the success will come to you eventually. And it is not so much where you start, but where you finish, it really counts.
Wow. Very interesting. Your answer just now reminds me of a quote. A friend of mine tell me that optimism is not naive. Optimism is leadership.
Yes.
So I guess even before you took the job, you have been an example of a leader for us here. So
Thank you.
that answers the question. We'll go to the next one. This one is also interesting because not a lot of people can experience being a leader and having to turn around a company in the pandemic. How does it feel at the time? And during those 2 years, how do you cope with the sudden news of pandemic?
Wow, that's also a great question, actually. Thanks for asking, Ruby. You know, I think every company leader will agree with me that it is not at all, you know, easy to go through this pandemic, you know, but I believe that the power of togetherness is a key and the most important key in this challenging time. So, you know, I can share with you that during this pandemic, you know, I spent most of my time with Indosat Ooredoo family, you know, here, and I try to support them, motivate them, and you know, I didn't travel back to Qatar, so I start during the pandemic. All the time I was here in Jakarta. This is also another sign, you know, if you being a leader, you should not leave your team, and I stayed here all the times. I know I pushed them a lot because we had everyday meetings about this pandemic, tracing the number of COVID, how to support them, giving them hospital before they get treated. Everything was done, you know, and that's why I cannot really thank the team enough for this great, you know, resilience that they have shown throughout this pandemic, you know. The goal, I can really, I mean, end up the answer of this question that I always a believer that the goal of the leaders is to move things forward, you know, and the most important for the reason, always put the safety of the team as a priority for the leader. And that's what we did during this pandemic.
Wow. Interesting. That's also, I think, one of the reasons why Indosat Ooredoo get an HR award, yeah, Pak?
Yeah, actually, we got a lot of awards recently, so I'm really thankful to all the teams that they got this award. And inshallah, more to come, Ruby, inshallah.
Next question. This is probably another interesting one, especially for those of you that enjoy soccer or football. Lionel Messi is the brand ambassador of Ooredoo, and as you enjoy football as well, will there be a chance, Pak, to bring Messi to Indonesia with Indosat Ooredoo?
Well, I thought you were never going to ask this question, but you know, we have actually discussed this a lot of time. You know, Messi is a sponsor for Ooredoo, and he's still our sponsor. You know, and you know, recently he moved from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain, where also Ooredoo sponsoring the team, the Paris Saint-Germain, with all the players now. So we tried to really bring him during the last 2 years, but you know, unfortunately we couldn't really manage. And I think Messi, you know, cannot fly in very long hours due to the circumstances he is there with playing all these matches and leagues. But we need to see, and we could really make it possible. I am already discussing with the team. I personally hope that we can bring him to Indonesia, and maybe stay tuned. Maybe soon you're gonna hear that news.
Awesome. And teman-teman kalau penasaran juga, mana tahu berita ini jadi kenyataan ya. Bisa follow juga Instagram account-nya Pak Ahmad. You guys can see from the button here. And who knows, we'll see the news soon on Pak Ahmad Instagram. And last one, I think being a CEO, we talk about how you go through that. We talk about the awesome performance, but would you mind to share with us a specific down moment for you? Have you ever felt that you have to go through a huge struggle, or maybe specifically a failure in the process of getting here as a CEO?
Of course, I can tell you, yes, I have. Being a CEO means there is a lot of responsibility to handle, and for me, challenges, I'm always a believer that challenges, bring opportunities to grow and strive even more, to upgrade ourselves, I think that's the best way to handle failure or challenges is to really, be a CEO there to your teams and try really to be there in front line and try to support them in what we do. And in Indosat here, I'll tell you, one of the things that we do is execution and then me supporting the team. And this is the two messages that I always stay on every day. And this is where, we've been in this scenario of being failure, but putting these two in front of me make us excel and did what we did now for the last 2 years.
Awesome. We definitely wish that we could have more time with you. Maybe we can set up another Instagram live, or maybe we can have it in another session, podcast. Maybe we'll see. But that's the last question for today, Pak Ahmad, and that's the last question for today, friends. Unfortunately, we cannot answer them all. There's a lot of questions, but maybe one last minute. If you have a message for the majority of 20-somethings that are watching this episode for their career, what would you suggest, Pak?
I cannot, Robbie, can you repeat the question, please, again?
Oh, yeah, sure. So there's a lot of 20-something watching this, and they look at you as an inspiring figure for their professional career. If there's one message you can give them, what would it be?
Well, look, the one message that can be, look, when you have a goal in your career, try really to stick with the goal, work hard. You have to really work hard to get this mission to be happening. Never quit. Never say it's over. And every time when you put something in front of you, try to overachieve that. For me, achieving is not the end of it. If you overachieve that and try to get to the end of it, believe me, lots of things will open for you. I'm always a believer of a success. And then I can say to you, if you work hard, put the goal in front of you, you will success in the end. And I can assure you this is what happened to us in Indosat, alhamdulillah.
All right. Thank you, Pak. I think I would put that word into a t-shirt, overachieve whatever your goal is, because I think that's a keyword that is very important for us in the 20-something. We tend to be enough with just achieving the mere minimum. We need to go further than that. So thanks again for the time. Friends, that's it for today's live session with Pak Ahmad, the CEO of Indosat Ooredoo. I strongly suggest you guys to check out Pak Ahmad's Instagram account as he continues to update from time to time. I will also upload this live session in my Instagram TV, so you guys can check it out later. And thanks again, Pak, for the time. Really an honor for spending a time with us.
Honor
Have a good day.
Terima kasih, Rudy. Inshallah, we will see you soon face to face. Thank you.
Thank you.